Hello to you. Welcome back to my channel. Guess what? I have a little microphone. It's temporary. This is just something to upgrade us in the meantime until we get a professional mic. So I hope you enjoy the rest of this video. Let's get into the reaction. Today's reaction is going to be to the movie Platoon. This is also a replacement for Apocalypse Now redo. We ran into a bit of replay issues, so this movie is not on demand for free through Pluto TV app. It just premieres every now and then, so I guess they have the rights to play it, they just don't have the rights to own it for playback. So until that day we catch it again, unfortunately I won't be able to react to it. So since I cannot predict the future, here we are today, Monday, and it is my off day out of office, and I'm here to be with you guys to hang out, to do this reaction in our monthly movie tribute theme of November, which is thank you for our service. Thank you. Not enough, but it's also from the heart, and that's what I'm extending to all people of the community of service, including our military people. Oliver Stone film, and this movie came out, I believe, in 1987, and it is actually an hour and I think like 50 something minutes long.
Oliver Stone was a combat infantryman in Vietnam. During his tour, he received a Bronze Star for gallantry. 10 years later, in Hollywood, he was picking up an Oscar for the screenplay of Midnight Express. Now he has another story to tell, a movie that grew out of his own experience. Stone has come a long way from Vietnam, but he has not left it behind. Casualty of war is innocence. The first real movie about the war in Vietnam is Platoon.
The cast of this movie is an enjoyable parade of Charlie Sheen, our main character, playing Chris Taylor, Tom Berenger as Sergeant Barnes, Willam Dafoe, one of my other guilty pleasure actors that I like to watch, Sergeant Elias, Keith David as King, Forrest Whitaker. Now we have a lot of people's first go-round career movies here. We have Forrest Whitaker as Big Harold, Kevin Dillon as Bunny. We also have, I believe, Johnny Depp, yes, as Lerner, one of his earlier films in this movie. Tony Todd, Mr. Candyman himself, as Warren. I think there is an uncredited scene of the director Oliver Stone in this movie. There's just a lot of going on, a lot of action. This is around Vietnam War times, loosely based on the experiences of Oliver Stone while serving in his time of being in Vietnam. So let's take a look at this movie based off into 1967. Chris Taylor, Army volunteer, has arrived in South Vietnam. Let's get into it.
I volunteered. I dropped out of college. Told him I wanted to be infantry. Not bad. Vietnam. You volunteered for this shit, man? Hey, man. He's a crazy fucker.
Crazy, brazen, and brave soul. Volunteered.
Poor kids going away. Rich kids always get away with it. But what we got here is a pussy. I hate it already.
I noticed a lot of like the war movies that were made in this time in the 80s always had narration to it. Even in the 90s, it had narration to it. But I like it. It works for this movie because it's like watching a moving book. Like you're reading a book that's in motion. You need that narration to understand the characters that you're looking at on the screen, to get more personal with them, because none of these men are bad individuals. It's just that they're going to suffer from what they see going through this situation. And that's what makes it sad.
I don't think I can keep this up for a year, Grandma. I think I made a big mistake coming here.
Wow.
You're homosexual, Taylor? What the fuck is your problem, Taylor? It's the fucking thing. She's a fucking human being, man! Fuck you! Little fucking cherry, Taylor. Fucking animal!
Wow, I mean, he finally got some morals about himself after what he just previously did. Wow. But it's a thin line in war, man. It's a thin line. He's intentionally supposed to be brutal and, straightforward and blunt.
Come on, guys, please look your dick. Let's get at it.
I mean, it's damn near hopeless. But there is a message that is portrayed that doesn't cross that line, so that you do see hope in some of the soldiers. But there is a divide brewing amongst this squad between the two leaders in charge, sergeants, between like Berenger's character and Dafoe. Man, and it is tense. He just shot Elias. Barnes is a snake. What a piece of shit.
Us dead. Fall back to the platoon.
And he lied. Oh, well, of course he's gonna lie, but still.
Yeah. He's back there about 100 meters. You saw him? Where? He's dead. There's scoops all over the goddamn place. Get moving.
Oh, wow. This movie does a good job of, especially in this scene, with clearly showing you how evil Barnes is. That, the enemy is not always across the battle lines. It could be right next to you, amongst your fellow soldier. Just insane.
I got no fight. Every man does what he's told.
And sad, because that monster is created by a product of what he's went through, of course, in this war. But man, heartless. Pastor Greenleaf, he know he be talking in this movie. He talks a lot. Well, his character name is King, but he could talk Chris to sleep up in this jungle. Let me tell you. Woo. But you need people like him too. You need characters like him in situations like this to make the time go by, to stay grounded, and learn a thing or two, to get through.
Gotta control that, bring the man down. I remember when you first come out here, it was green as a... You've got a mistake that you just can't get out of. We got everything, man. Just keep your picker hard and your powder dry, and the world will turn.
All right.
How many days you show?
What a motto to go by. He definitely looks like the hell he's been through in that past probably what hours of the night. A shame. Well, look at here. What? Don't help him.
Go on, boy.
Even in the hands of need, in the time of need, he is still an asshole. Is he gonna shoot him? Good. You know what? That felt good. That was for Ellis. Poor. Pooey. Wipe your feet off that piece of shit. Well, we have reached the end of the movie and we're going to do our review of this movie. I'm not going to come at this from a point as if I understand what it's like to serve in the military and serve at this particular time and go through what any of those men and soldiers had to endure. But watching this movie from a point of view of an audience member who is witnessing a chapter of the director's life, Oliver Stone, a thank you is an understatement to what he had to go through. The messages in this movie, though, are very, very, life learning lessons that anybody could relate to, watching this film at an adult age. And so I can appreciate watching Platoon. I enjoyed watching this movie. The characters was, this movie is not all daunting. Some of these characters are hilarious, and they're lighthearted moments. Not a lot of them, but a couple. But I do like the tense build into the divide of the squad, the fight of control between Barnes and Ellis, which unfortunately led to the better person, in my opinion, the better character dying. And this movie was good. It was entertaining because it had its realism with a good touch of, drama to it. And the ending was very satisfying. Check this movie out. You can find it for free on Amazon Prime if you have a subscription. It's free for you to watch. Platoon, a laundry list of great actors, came out in '87. It won't waste your time at all. Okay, you heard it here first from Clubhouse 81. My rating for this movie is a great 8.5 out of 10. Let's get into some also behind the scene little trivia here about this movie. Okay, some film trivia here about the movie Platoon. Oliver Stone first wrote the draft of Platoon in 1971 and sent it off to Jim Morrison of the group The Doors in hopes that he would actually play the role of Chris, which ultimately went to Charlie Sheen. We have factual error. Taylor arrives in Vietnam wearing the unit insignia of the 25th Infantry. A low-ranking enlisted infantry replacements did not arrive in Vietnam or insignia, but were assigned to line units as required. Dale Dye is in a body bag taken off of a truck at the start of the film. During opening credits, Big Harold falls and rolls down a hill. Whitaker claims it was real and an unintentional fall. Ooh, talk about dedicated to the scene. The final battle in the movie was a recreation of an actual event that was witnessed by technical advisor Dale Dye, who was a combat correspondent with the 2nd Battalion, 3rd Marines. The cast and crew arrived in the Philippines in early 1986, just before the revolution of '86, which toppled Ferdinand Marcos. Willam Dafoe said that day or two after he arrived in Manila, he awoke to some column of tanks rolling down the streets. He was told that the movie was probably canceled and that certainly no one could leave the country. Director Oliver Stone reportedly had to bribe the new government to allow them to start filming. Scary time. Val Kilmer auditioned for the role of Sergeant Elias, and according to Oliver Stone, he gave a bizarre audition where he portrayed the character as an Indian shaman. Okay. Later on, after this film, Willam Dafoe went on to play Jesus in The Last Temptation of Christ in 1988, which that movie was highly controversial. People did not like that movie at all. And I believe it's banned, if I'm not mistaken. We have Charlie Sheen credited actor Keith David with saving his life during the shoot of Platoon. According to Sheen, while shooting a battle scene in the open-doored Huey helicopter, the pilot banked too hard and Sheen was thrown towards the open door. He would have plunged through the door and fallen to his death, but David grabbed onto him and pulled him back in. The same thing happened to his brother Emilio Estevez during Downtime and Apocalypse Now in 1979 when Lawrence Fishburne rescued him from quicksand. I mean, they had to go through their own little battle themselves just to get this movie produced and done, let me tell you. The paper pinned to Manny's dead body is a South Vietnam safe conduct pass. The paper dropped in mass over South Vietnam in an unsuccessful attempt to get the VC and NVA to surrender. The enemy troops are showing their contempt for the Americans by attaching the pass to Manny's corpse. When Bunny beats the villager to death with his shotgun, Sergeant O'Neill's cigarette varies from long to short each time it cuts back to him. Johnny Depp says he left for the Philippines for this movie at age 22, and it was his first time leaving outside of the U.S. References: Cannibal Holocaust, which came out in 1980, and an interview director Ruggero Deodato said the scene where the village is burned down is heavily referenced in Platoon. Also, according to Deodato, Oliver Stone is a confessed fan of the movie Cannibal Holocaust, another highly controversial film that I believe also led to going to court, and also is another banned movie. Keanu Reeves turned down the role of playing Private Chris Taylor, Charlie Sheen's character. Denzel Washington even lobbied to play Sergeant Elias. According to Charlie Sheen, he kissed the ground when he returned home from filming this movie. And in 2007, the American Film Institute ranked this as the number 186 greatest movie of all time. I can definitely agree to that notion. Thank you guys for hanging out with me today on this reaction. I would love to hear from you guys in the comment section on how you think and feel about this movie. If you have watched it, if you have not, come back. I still want to hear from you. Also, make sure you subscribe if you are new to my face and my voice. Come on, hang out with us. Join the fam. We are on a goal to 500, and we would love to have you aboard with us as we do these reactions every week. I will see you guys in the next one. Until then, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your evening. And this is a piece from Clubhouse 81. Bye.